Welcome to 50 Plus in Montgomery County, a monthly program that is a voice for many and produced by the Commission on Aging, of which I'm a community member. This show is insightful for people of all ages, and each episode takes a fresh look at important issues by spotlighting older adults in the community, representatives of services and programs, and activities of interest to older adults. My name is Katie Smith. With technology advancing at such a rapid rate, it can be a challenge for some older adults to keep up with the pace. However, a recent study suggests that older adults are the fastest growing segment of the online population. Not only that, but older adults who use technology, they feel more connected to others, are better engaged in their community and the world around them, as well as more informed about current events. On this month's show, we're going to talk about ways that technology use benefits older adults. Joining me is Kathleen McGuinness. Kathleen is the Director of Community Relations at SmithLife Homecare. Hi, Kathleen.
Katie, thank you
How
for
are
having
you?
me here.
Oh, I'm so glad that you are. Well, let's jump right in. Kathleen, tell us about your journey. Why did you decide to go into healthcare?
Well, that's a very long and windy road. I am a fourth generation Washingtonian, and I started my career here as an executive with the Fortune 500 for about 20 years. And then I worked for the Minister of Tourism, Commerce, and Aviation in the Cayman Islands in the British West Indies for about 15 years. And then I semi retired because my mother and father, who lived here in the Metro DC area, were doing their best to age in place, but were not succeeding. My dad was a disabled World War II vet, and his injuries were catching up with him at 80 something. So he lived in McLean, and my mother lived in Chevy Chase and Florida. And I began with a series of failures trying to help them. And I learned so much by making so many mistakes myself that when they both passed away, I decided I should put all of this experience. It was about a 4.5 year process to good use because I was kind of astonished at how much could be done with technology to help be connected to my parents. A perfect example is while my father was living in McLean, initially, he had a habit of not using his cell phone, so he would save his battery for what we don't know, but not uncommon. And then he would knock the phone off the hook so that I have no way of getting in touch with him. So as that progressed, I began to put an Alexa in his home, the smart artificial intelligence smart devices. And it progressed from there. So I didn't have to drive 30 minutes to McLean, make sure daddy was still alive, and then drive back home to my own life. So as their care progressed, my father eventually went into assisted to a nursing home after a bad fall. He was 100% dependent on a Hoyer lift to lift him in and out of bed his last year and a half of life. And I was back to work and couldn't be there every day for him. So I discovered that Alexa, you can program Alexa or your Google Assistant to read to him, 3 days a week, the 3 days that I couldn't be there. I also hired a private duty caregiver to also help support his care. And it was just amazing. He loves old Westerns. So daddy could listen to music or old Westerns. He didn't have to do anything. I just had to program his Alexa from my phone, and he was a happy camper. So when I started back to work for a smaller home care company, just as a marketing consultant and social media and other products they offered for about 6 months, and then I went to work for SmithLife Homecare, which is a sister company of the Charles E. Smith Life Communities campus, which is 38 acres in Rockville, Maryland. And I began to do talks all over Montgomery County. People would ask, nursing homes, other locations, civic groups, how can you help us with technology and older adults? And boy, did I have a lot of failures and positive things to share. Starting with my mom, when she was unable to travel any longer because of her COPD, I was able to use her iPad we had to sell our house in Florida, and just something simple like, I'm in my mother's closet. I'm like, Mom, you want to keep these shoes? You want to get rid of these shoes? The whole house. And I engaged an army of 70-year-olds to do an estate sale at her house. But we had to do it all via technology with her approval first. So she felt like she was an important part of the process.
You have a very interesting, path into healthcare, and obviously, it's connected to your family. I have another question, though, that I want to ask you. You've used smartphones and smart devices to help care for your loved ones. What are some of the other benefits of technology for older adults?
Well, we have so many great products now. I think there's an abundance of helpful products on the market. And again, much of it was learned, some of it was learned from my clients, but the most significant learning curve was on my own family. And my husband was diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia and supranuclear palsy, which is an offshoot of Parkinson's disease, around 2015. So in my experience with him, as he progressed through his illness and eventually passed away in 2020, again, I learned by failures or surprises. So it makes me feel better about sharing my experience with the community out there so they don't have the same hiccups I did. I could tell my husband, stay in that chair. Don't leave. And then I'd go out and do errands, and I'd come home and he wouldn't be there. I'm like, oh my goodness. So he just wanted to walk to the store to get a gift for a grandchild. But so, he's found with his walker going down River Road, which is busy. And then, of course, he has a fall. So I discovered GPS insoles to put in his sneakers. I also got an Apple Watch for him, which is an incredible device. Expensive. I found it to be expensive, but it also had GPS tracking. The smart insoles in shoes is a good product with particularly with Alzheimer's people who don't like to wear a medallion, and they will often take off their watch as Joe would. So between the insoles and his watch, I could find him almost anywhere. The watch especially, when Joe had a bad fall and broke his back, he went into a rehab and then assisted living for 60 days while they did his rehab. But again, he was long distance. He would walk out of the facility and I could see Joe McGuinness is on Connecticut Avenue and he's fallen. Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, I could get out a full alert. The Apple Watch will alert a family member. It would also alert Joe saying, we see you've taken a fall. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. And if he was aware enough, he could say, okay. And if he wasn't, it would still tell me where he was and 911 would be called. The other thing I found really helpful for Joe in assisted living while he was there was, again, Alexa and the phone. Joe would not answer his phone, and there's no phone in many rooms. So Alexa, I can talk to my Alexa on my phone here, my Alexa, and program his Alexa. So whether you're across the street or 20 miles away, I could nag him long distance and say, Kathleen is coming at 3 o'clock on Alexa. It would set up a reminder. And then as part of soothing, music is a wonderful tool for people that have dementia, mild or advanced. He loved doo-wop music. So I could program doo-wop music every night at 8 o'clock in his room, and it would help him go to sleep. So it was very comforting, I think. And, you know, the Apple Watch for seniors also has an altimeter that's on. It has a blood oxygen monitor. It's capable of detecting cardiac abnormalities. And the fall detection was the best one for me.
You know, that's very interesting, Kathleen. We have, excuse me, a few minutes left, but I wonder if there are any other life enriching technology-based things we should know about, maybe like Caring Bridge. And if you could briefly tell us about that in roughly 2 minutes.
Yes, that was a great app. It's a free app that's a nonprofit. It's basically a website for your family. Very simple, very easy to use, the technology. My husband had 9 brothers and sisters, so I could put out an all points bulletin. Joe has Parkinson's. He needs a spotter from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. in Chevy Chase every week. Is anybody available to help give me some relief? You can put pictures on caringbridge.org. You can put meal train so that people would bring meals to your house if there's a recent family crisis or hospitalization. It's one of the most useful, user-friendly sites out there, I think, for families in any type of crisis to communicate with a large volume of people and get your request honored if you need help.
Well, Kathleen, how can we stay in contact with you?
You can reach me on my cell phone at 301-873-5506. Excuse me. My business number is 301-816-5020. And SmithLife Homecare can be reached at www.smith, S-M-I-T-H, lifehomecare.com. We're available 24/7 to help you or your loved one, and I'm happy to share my experience with any of your civic groups out there. I give talks in the community for free.
I know that folks would totally benefit from those talks. I know here on the show, we've enjoyed learning about your personal story, and particularly you being vulnerable and sharing with us the ways that you help your own family members out using, you know, tips, tools, and techniques that revolve around devices with technology. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I have a lot more, but we have a short time, and those were kind of the highlights and some tips on what worked for me.
Well, we have to have you back.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll talk with David Engel. David is the chair of the Commission on Aging.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Ride on Flex, Montgomery County Department of Transportation's on-demand transit service to help you get around in defined Rockville and Glenmont-Wheaton zones. There are no fixed stops or schedules. Just use the Ride on Flex app or call 240-301-3842 to book your ride. Curb-to-curb service is available for people with disabilities. Standard ride-on-fare policy applies. Visit rideonflex.com for service areas and hours of operation.
Welcome back to 50 Plus in Montgomery County. Joining me is David Engel. David is the chair of the Commission on Aging. Hi, David.
Hi, Katie.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Well, David, let's go ahead and jump in. Tell me about the work of the Commission on Aging, or COA.
The Commission on Aging was established in 1974, and it operates to improve the conditions of the older adult population of the county, which, as you know, is the fastest growing demographic in our county. The Commission on Aging is one of the 75 boards, committees, and commissions that help counsel the government in areas of our constituencies, and our constituency is older adults. The Commission serves as the advisory council to the Area Agency on Aging, and members of the Commission are volunteers, and we apply and are appointed by the county executive.
Do you have committees on the COA?
Well, yes, we have about 25 members in the commission, broken up into different committees, and the committees are the Health and Wellness Committee, the Communications and Outreach Committee, the Aging and Community Committee, and Public Policy Committee.
And what do they do, David? If you can elaborate a little bit more on the functions of those committees.
Sure, be happy to. Well, the Communications and Outreach Committee is one of the committees that helps produce this show, 50 Plus in Montgomery, and also works to improve the outreach of all the programs that are for older adults in the county. The Health and Wellness Committee, for example, now is working on a program called Life Transitions as We Age. So that might be legal, financial, different documents you need. And so the result of that will be a presentation and some fact sheets to help older adults with resources to help them get their affairs in order as they go through these life transitions as we all get older. The Public Policy Committee is working currently on what's happening in Maryland legislature. So we review the bills that affect the older adults in Montgomery County, and then we'll testify on behalf of the commission and on behalf of the older adults in Montgomery County to try and get those bills favorable attention and get passed into law. And then lastly, the Aging and Community Committee. Aging and Community Committee is working currently on technology, and technology specifically on how to help older adults age in place.
David, what about your volunteers? Do they have to be older adults? Can someone from a younger generation be a part of the COA?
Well, as you can see from the screen, we're both from different generations, and most of the members of the commission need to be 60 plus, but they can be young. There can be some members that are younger than 60, and it's generally volunteers from the community at large, but they also have to be members or have to live in Montgomery County. If anybody is interested in learning about how to become a commissioner, certainly be happy to help them learn more about the commission.
Now, David, I noticed your background, which I really love, and that you have a library there. Tell us where you're taping from.
So today we're doing a live shoot from the Margaret Schweinhaut Senior Center in Silver Spring. This senior center is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and they have great programs in all areas of the senior center. Last time I was here, they had a Zumba class and bingo. They have a great billiards room. It's really a great resource. And remember, for all rec centers, they are free for programs in 23.
Great thing to know. I appreciate you sharing it. Now, I just spoke with Kathleen McGuinness. As you may know, David, Kathleen is the Director of Community Relations at SmithLife Homecare. We talked about the benefits of technology for older adults. I want to know, how is the Commission on Aging using technology?
Well, we're using technology to be on this call for the past several years since the pandemic. The commission has really done a great job, as many businesses and organizations, transitioning to remote work and remote meetings and doing using technology to communicate. So our meetings are generally Zoom. Last year, our public forum was a hybrid meeting. And this year as well, our public forum in May is going to be a hybrid meeting. And so that's really how the commission's using technology. And we're also researching how to get technology to help older adults age in place.
Now, you mentioned your public forum or our public forum that's coming up on May 4th. Can you elaborate a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so as I just discussed, the theme is technology to help older adults age in place. It is May 4th. It's in collaboration with the City of Gaithersburg Active Aging Expo. So there'll be an expo component to it with a lot of great vendors to learn about what we hope is their technologies, as well as other vendors that serve the older adult community. And then our program is 9:30 to 2:30. And we have a keynote speaker from Leading Age, the Center for Aging Services Technology. Scott Code, I think, will be a great keynote, uh, really talking about how technology is being used now and in the future. And then we have a bunch of panelists that will look at technology from a big perspective of what's happening around the country. We also have a component of the public forum that is regarding intergenerational programming. And we have Dr. Monifa McKnight from the superintendent of Montgomery County Public Schools is going to give a presentation on how they're going to make a major effort on bringing older adults and students from Montgomery County Public Schools together to help with technology. So we're really interested to hear that presentation and to see what's actually begun within her administration to help seniors learn technology. And the afternoon panel is going to be a bunch of panelists that will talk about what's happening now in Montgomery County. So we're really excited about the presentation. And it's at the Boer Park Senior Center or Activity Center in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
That sounds exciting, and I certainly can't wait to join. David, is there anything else that you would like to share with us? Something that we didn't cover, but perhaps as a focus area for the Commission on Aging?
Well, the focus areas of the commission change each year, especially with groups like the Health and Wellness and Aging and Community Committees. And so they will be moving the focus into possibly housing. People love living in Montgomery County. They don't always love paying for it. So, affordable housing is a big deal. What I'd really like people to know is that if they need services or they want to find a program, to call the helpline 240-777-3000. So if they can't find it on the website, make that phone call. It's really easy to do, and they can get help there, or go to the Montgomery County md.gov/senior website. So they can get a lot of really good information from those two sources. And then just go to the rec centers, go to the community centers, find out what activities are there. It's generally free, although last time I was here at Margaret Schweinhout, the Encore Choral was going on, and they were practicing, and there's a fee to join that choral. So there are some things that are cost money, but mostly everything else is free to use. So it's a great resource for our county.
David, last question. If one of our viewers wanted to join a commission meeting, not as a commissioner, but just as a listener, are they able to do that?
Yes. So if you go to the website montgomerycountymd.gov/senior and go to the Commission on Aging website. From there, you will find the links to the meetings. So all the committees that I talked about are open meetings, as well as the main featured meeting of the month, which we typically will have a speaker and then presentations from the committees. So that is also a great resource, and it's open to the public.
How can we stay in contact with you, David?
You can stay in contact with me through the county liaison, Tremaine Jones. You can email her or give her a call, and they can certainly forward that to me, and I'd be happy to respond to any questions that anybody has about the commission, about older adult resources. Happy to talk about anything regarding the county.
Well, David, I've certainly enjoyed our conversation, and I hope that all of our viewers will tune in to May 4th, the public forum. And if they can attend in person, they can do so. And it's also hybrid, or is it just in person? Can you remind us?
Yes, so it is a hybrid event, and there'll be a Zoom link that'll be sent out. And we feel that the presentations will be great in person, but we also know that not everybody can get to all parts of the county. So we will present it as a hybrid option as well.
That's great. Thanks again, David.
Thank you, Katie.
Well, that concludes our program for today. We learned about how to use technology to help us stay engaged, healthy, and connected to those we love, as well as information about the Commission's upcoming public forum on May 4th. As you can see, the voices of those 50 plus matter every day and in every way. To learn more about services for seniors in Montgomery County, please visit the Montgomery County Seniors website by visiting montgomerycountymd.gov/senior or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. And as always, thank you for watching 50 Plus in Montgomery County.
An estimated 124,000 tons of food scraps are thrown away each year in Montgomery County. Reducing food waste begins with you. Here's how. Plan meals in advance, make a shopping list, and check expiration dates. Cook the food you buy. Cook smaller portions to reduce leftovers. Save extra food in reusable containers. Add a label with the contents and date. Let's keep food out of the waste stream and aim for zero waste. Visit montgomerycountymd.gov/reduce food waste or call 311 to learn more.